The silent preparation, Admiral Sarah Chen, stood in the observation deck of the UES Determination, watching the massive space station Harmony Prime rotate slowly against the backdrop of distant stars. For 23 years, this station had served as the symbol of peaceful cooperation between humanity and the four major alien civilizations: the Altarians with their crystalline bodies, the Vex with their multiple arms and keen intelligence, the Zorathi with their proud warrior culture, and the Nethys with their advanced biotechnology had all worked alongside humans to build something unprecedented in galactic history. But today, everything Sarah believed about this alliance was about to change forever. Captain Alina Vasquez entered the observation deck, her footsteps echoing in the quiet space. Alina had been working deep undercover for 3 years, embedded within the Altarian diplomatic corps as a cultural exchange officer. Her dark hair was pulled back in the severe style favored by Altarian officials, and her usually bright eyes looked haunted by whatever she had discovered. Admiral Alina said quietly, glancing around to ensure they were alone. "We need to talk. What I'm about to tell you will change everything." Sarah turned from the viewport, her experienced eyes reading the tension in her officer's posture. "Show me what you've found." Alina activated a portable holoprojector, displaying a series of documents written in the flowing script of the Altarian language. "I've been translating these for weeks. They're meeting records from something called the Unity Directive. All for species have been participating." The holographic text shifted, showing translation overlays in human standard. Sarah's expression grew darker as she read. The documents detailed extensive studies of human psychology, military tactics, technological development, and social structures. Every joint mission, every cultural exchange, every scientific collaboration had been carefully monitored and analyzed. "They've been studying us like laboratory specimens," Alina continued. "Every weakness, every strength, every innovation we've shared with them has been catalogued and analyzed. But that's not the worst part." Sarah looked up from the documents. "Go on. The Unity Directive isn't just about studying us. It's about eliminating us. They've concluded that humanity is too unpredictable, too aggressive, too innovative to be allowed to continue existing in the galaxy. They're planning what they call the Great Cleansing." The hologram shifted again, showing tactical analyses of human space defenses, fleet positions, and population centers. Sarah realized with growing horror that the aliens had detailed plans for attacking every major human world simultaneously. When, Sarah asked, "The summit next week. They're planning to eliminate all human leadership in one strike during the peace ceremony. Once our government and military command are gone, they'll move against Earth and all our colonies." Sarah was quiet for a long moment, processing the magnitude of the betrayal. 23 years of friendship, cooperation, and mutual trust had all been an elaborate deception. The aliens had been preparing for genocide while humans had been working toward genuine peace. "There's something else," Alina said. "They think they know everything about us. They've based their entire plan on the assumption that what we've shown them is all we're capable of. They have no idea what we've been keeping secret." Sarah smiled grimly. Operation Silent Storm. For the past 15 years, a small group of human scientists and military leaders had been working on classified projects that existed outside normal channels. While humanity had been openly sharing technology and knowledge with their alien allies, they had also been developing advanced weapons and defensive systems in complete secrecy. Dr. Marcus Webb had been the lead scientist on the project. His team had developed quantum disruption weapons that could tear apart matter at the subatomic level. Commander Jake Sullivan had created new tactical doctrines based on human psychological advantages that no alien species could replicate. Most importantly, they had done all of this without using any of the shared technologies that the aliens had been studying. "Contact Dr. Webb and Commander Sullivan," Sarah ordered. "Tell them Operation Silent Storm is now active. We have 6 days to prepare." Alina nodded and began making the secure calls. As she worked, Sarah returned to the viewport and stared out at Harmony Prime. The station had been built as a symbol of peace, but now it would become the site of humanity's greatest test. Over the next 6 days, the human fleet began subtle preparations. Supply ships arrived with sealed cargo containers. Technical crews worked around the clock on routine maintenance that was anything but routine. Communication arrays were modified to operate on encrypted frequencies that alien sensors couldn't detect. Dr. Webb arrived aboard the Determination with his team of scientists. The man was thin and nervous, but his eyes held the fierce intelligence that had made him humanity's greatest weapons designer. "Admiral," he said, "the quantum disruptors are ready for deployment. We can outfit the entire fleet within 4 hours. The quantum disruptors were unlike anything the aliens had ever encountered. Instead of simply destroying targets, they unraveled the fundamental forces holding matter together. A single shot could cause a chain reaction that would consume an entire enemy vessel from the inside out." Commander Sullivan brought with him a new tactical doctrine that would have seemed impossible to alien minds. Where other species fought in predictable formations using logical strategies, humans would employ chaos, misdirection, and psychological warfare. The aliens had studied human military history, but they had focused on the wrong things. They had analyzed human equipment and formations, but they had never understood the human capacity for creative thinking under pressure. The aliens are expecting us to fight like the peacekeeping forces they've observed, Sullivan explained to the assembled ship commanders. They've prepared counters for every tactic we've used in joint operations. But we're not going to fight like peacekeepers. We're going to fight like humans. As the day of the summit approached, both sides made their final preparations. The aliens positioned their fleets throughout the system, ready to spring their trap. They had calculated every possible human response and prepared appropriate countermeasures, but they had made one crucial error. They had assumed that the humans they had been studying represented the full extent of human capability. They had no idea that humanity had been holding back, keeping their most advanced technology and their most creative tactical minds hidden from alien observation. Ambassador Kraft, the lead Altarian diplomat, sent a final message to Admiral Chen. "We look forward to the peace ceremony tomorrow. It will mark a new chapter in galactic history." Sarah read the message and smiled coldly. The ambassador was right. Tomorrow would indeed mark a new chapter in galactic history, but not the chapter the aliens were expecting. As the human fleet moved toward Harmony Prime, Sarah addressed her crews one final time. "For 23 years, we've been faithful allies to the species that now plan to destroy us. We've shared our knowledge, our resources, and our friendship. In return, they've been planning our extinction." She paused, looking at the faces of her officers and crew members. These were good people who had believed in peace and cooperation. They had served alongside alien crews, formed friendships with alien colleagues, and genuinely worked toward a better galaxy. Tomorrow, they will learn the price of betraying humanity. They think they know what we're capable of because we've shown them our peaceful side. They're about to discover what humans are really capable of when we're fighting for our survival. The fleet continued its approach to Harmony Prime, weapons systems armed and ready, hidden beneath the familiar exterior of human vessels, quantum disruptors charged with lethal energy. In the command centers of each ship, human officers prepared to implement tactical doctrines that no alien mind could predict or counter. The aliens were waiting in the shadows, confident in their superior numbers and their detailed knowledge of human capabilities. They had no idea that they were about to face an enemy that had been preparing for this moment for 15 years. As the Determination approached the station's docking bay, Sarah watched the alien vessels positioning themselves for the ambush. Their formation was perfect, their timing flawless. They had planned this operation with typical alien precision and logic. It was exactly what humanity had been hoping for. All ships, Sarah broadcast on the encrypted frequency. Prepare for Operation Silent Storm. Show them what happens when you betray the human race. The trap was set, but the question remained: who was really the hunter and who was the prey? The reckoning, the peace ceremony aboard Harmony Prime, began with all the pageantry expected of such a historic occasion. Representatives from all 5 species gathered in the station's grand assembly hall, their different forms of life creating a colorful tapestry of galactic unity. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the podium, delivering remarks about cooperation and mutual respect, while secretly counting down the minutes until the alien ambush would begin. Ambassador Krath listened to the human admiral's speech with barely concealed satisfaction. In precisely 17 minutes, the Unity Directive would finally achieve its goal. The elimination of humanity would begin with the destruction of their leadership, followed by systematic attacks on all human worlds. The Altarian felt a surge of pride in the elegant simplicity of the plan. But as Sarah concluded her remarks and the ceremony moved to its next phase, something unexpected happened. Instead of the scheduled presentation by the Vex delegation, the lights in the assembly hall suddenly dimmed. Emergency lighting activated, casting eerie shadows across the gathered delegates. Ladies and gentlemen, Sarah's voice echoed through the hall. I'm afraid there's been a change in the program. The main display screen activated, showing detailed images of the Unity Directive documents that Captain Elena Vasquez had discovered. Alien delegates throughout the hall froze in shock as their secret plans were revealed in perfect detail. For 23 years, Sarah continued, humanity has participated in this alliance in good faith. We've shared our technology, our knowledge, and our friendship. In return, you've been planning our extinction. Ambassador Krath stood up, his crystalline features flushing with anger. This is outrageous. These documents are fabrications, are they? Sarah smiled coldly. Captain Vasquez, please share your additional findings with our guests. Elena stepped forward, activating another holographic display. This one showed recordings of actual Unity Directive meetings, complete with audio of alien leaders discussing the human problem and their plans for genocide. The assembly hall erupted in chaos as alien delegates realized their conspiracy had been exposed. Some attempted to deny the evidence, while others began calculating how to salvage their position. But Sarah wasn't finished. You've spent decades studying us, she said, her voice carrying over the confusion. You think you know everything about human capabilities. You've analyzed our weapons, our tactics, our technology. You've prepared countermeasures for every strategy we've ever used. She paused, letting the tension build. But you've made one crucial mistake. You've only studied the humans we allowed you to see. At that moment, proximity alarms began sounding throughout the station. The alien fleets that had been positioned for the ambush were suddenly detecting massive energy signatures from the human vessels. Admiral Vex of the Vex fleet stared at his tactical display in confusion. This is impossible. Human ships don't generate energy readings like this. On the bridge of the UES Determination, Commander Sullivan watched the alien formations with satisfaction. All ships, activate quantum disruptors. Let's show our guests what 23 years of secret development can accomplish. The human fleet underwent a transformation that stunned the watching aliens. Hidden weapon systems emerged from concealed compartments. Energy shields flickered into existence using technology that was decades ahead of anything the aliens had encountered. Most shocking of all, the quantum disruptors began charging with an energy signature that registered as completely unknown to alien sensors. "Open fire," Sarah commanded from the station's control center. The first quantum disruptor blast struck the Altarian flagship with devastating effect. Instead of a conventional explosion, the weapon created a cascade reaction that unraveled the ship's molecular structure from the inside out. The massive vessel simply ceased to exist, consumed by its own quantum dissolution. Admiral Dex watched in horror as 3 more of his vessels were destroyed in the same manner. All ships returned fire, used the human weapon countermeasures, but the Vex fleet's response was completely ineffective. Their weapons, designed to counter the human technology they had studied, were useless against the quantum disruptors. The energy shields protecting the human ships operated on principles that alien science couldn't even comprehend. "Impossible," Dex whispered. "These aren't the same humans we've been studying." Commander Sullivan's voice crackled over the communication system. "You're right about that. You've been studying our peacekeepers and diplomats. Today, you're facing our warriors." The human fleet began implementing tactical doctrines that defied all alien understanding of warfare. Instead of the predictable formations the aliens had prepared to counter, human ships moved in chaotic patterns that somehow achieved perfect coordination. They attacked from unexpected angles, withdrew when victory seemed certain, and struck again where the enemy least expected. The Zerothi battle fleet, known throughout the galaxy for their martial prowess, found themselves completely outmaneuvered. Their rigid military doctrine, based on honor and direct confrontation, proved useless against human tactics that emphasized deception, misdirection, and psychological warfare. "They're not following any logical battle plan," reported Captain Vorthok of the Zerothi dreadnought. "Their movements make no sense." That was exactly the point. Dr. Webb's quantum weapons had given humanity a technological advantage, but Sullivan's tactical innovations were proving even more devastating. The aliens had spent decades studying human military history, but they had focused on the wrong elements. They had analyzed formations and equipment while completely missing the human capacity for creative problem-solving under pressure. As the battle raged, the true extent of humanity's preparation became clear. The quantum disruptors weren't just weapons. They were part of a comprehensive system that included advanced sensors, adaptive AI, and communication networks that operated beyond alien detection capabilities. The Nethes Biofleet attempted to coordinate a counterattack using their organic vessels, but found their living ships unable to adapt to the quantum energy signatures. The human weapons didn't just destroy alien vessels. They disrupted the fundamental biological processes that kept Nethes ships alive. "Admiral," reported Elena from the station's command center, "all 4 alien fleets are in full retreat. They're requesting immediate ceasefire." Sarah looked at the tactical display showing the scattered remains of the once mighty alien armadas. 400 ships had been reduced to less than 50 functional vessels in just over an hour. The Unity Directive's carefully planned ambush had become a complete disaster. Open a channel to all surviving alien vessels, Sarah ordered. The communication system activated, carrying her voice to every retreat ship in the system. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Space Force. For 23 years, you have lived alongside us as allies while secretly planning our destruction. You studied our weaknesses and prepared to exploit them. You developed weapons specifically designed to kill human beings. You planned to eliminate our entire species. She paused, watching the alien vessels continue their panicked retreat. Today, you've learned the price of betraying humanity. You thought you knew what we were capable of, but you only saw what we chose to show you. While you were studying us, we were preparing for this moment. Ambassador Krath's voice crackled over the communication system from his damaged vessel. Admiral, we can negotiate. The Unity Directive was a mistake. We can return to the old alliance. The old alliance was based on lies, Sarah replied. You've shown us what you really think of humanity. We've shown you what we're really capable of. There will be no negotiation. Dr. Webb's voice came from the scientific station. Admiral, we're detecting massive quantum resonance signatures from the remaining alien ships. They're trying to analyze our weapon systems. Sarah smiled coldly. Let them study all they want. What they're seeing today is just the beginning. Commander Sullivan, activate the demonstration protocol. At Sullivan's command, the human fleet began a carefully choreographed display of their advanced capabilities. Ships moved through impossible maneuvers. Weapons fired with precision that seemed to defy physics. And coordination systems demonstrated levels of tactical integration that alien minds couldn't comprehend. The message was clear. This wasn't just a military victory. It was a demonstration of humanity's true potential. To any alien species receiving this transmission, Sarah broadcast on all frequencies, let this be a lesson. Humanity has spent centuries learning to live in peace with others. We've shared our knowledge, our resources, and our friendship freely. But we've never forgotten that survival sometimes requires strength. She looked directly at the camera, her eyes reflecting the determination that had carried humanity to the stars. We offered you genuine partnership. You chose to plan our extinction. Now you know the price of that choice. The surviving alien vessels fled the system, carrying with them the knowledge that humanity was not the naive species they had believed. The Unity Directive was finished, its fleets destroyed, its leaders discredited. As the human fleet secured the system, Sarah reflected on the day's events. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of alien dominance was over, and the age of human ascendancy had begun. But more than that, humanity had proven something important about itself. When faced with extinction, they had not only survived, but had emerged stronger than anyone had imagined possible. The species that had once struggled to leave their home planet had become the dominant force in the galaxy. The betrayal had been meant to destroy humanity. Instead, it had revealed their true strength to the entire galaxy. All ships, Sarah commanded, begin Phase 2 operations. It's time to establish the new order. The war for humanity's survival was over. The war for galactic dominance had just begun. Asterisk.